Welcome to the Maximum Chillage podcast. My name is Chewy Sanchez. With me, as always, is no one. No one's here because yesterday we fucked up. We had a royal fuck up. Doing episode 11, we had Nick Sal on the podcast. And you know what? I honestly believe it was the best podcast that we had ever had. We had Bud Ice. We had like 5 Bud Ice. I was pretty drunk. I think Mike was pretty sauced. And we were just having a good time, having a good conversation with Nick Sal. Great guy. Bum City podcast. We were calling it Bum Chillage. And at the end of it all, the movie ended up not saving. It didn't save to my computer. I spent all day trying to locate it or try to salvage it, try to find it in some kind of fucking, I don't know. I even downloaded a $40 software to try to get that fucking video back, but it just didn't work. So I'm sticking by my word. We're going to do this. This is going to be a weekly podcast. We're going to make sure that it's weekly. So I'm going to do it by myself today. So bear with me. I don't have a stupid-ass mic to bounce shit off of. I don't have the built-in laugh track. But whatever. I mean, I'm the star of the show anyway, right? Y'all tune in for me. So on this week of the podcast, I'm just kidding, Mike. You're whatever. On this week, on the episode 11 of the podcast, we have the iPhone. iPhone just came out. iPhone and Apple Watch, some new releases. We're going to talk about that. It, the movie, the Stephen King book, a new 2017 adaptation of the movie came out. We're going to talk about that. I actually went to go see it. It was an experience. Ted Cruz, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, the otherwise known as the Zodiac Killer, he got caught up this week. He got caught up on porn, on a porn site. No, not actually. It was actually on Twitter. He favorited a porn video, and it caused a big stir on Twitter on Tuesday night, I believe, and it was pretty funny. There's a lot of funny tweets about it. We're gonna jump in on that, and finally, J.J. Abrams will return as the director of Star Wars Episode 9. I'm not sure what the name of that one is going to be. I just know it's Episode 9. He's returning, and we're going to jump in on that. So without further ado, Apple released the new iPhone today, the Apple iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. But not just 8 and 8 Plus. They skip 9, go straight to fucking 10. And it's supposed to be the best iPhone ever. So the 8 and 8 Plus, they have the most durable glass on a smartphone ever. It's going to come in 3 finishes: space gray, silver, and gold. It resists water and dust, which they really didn't get into how much water it resists. They kind of just skipped over that. They're like, it resists water, but they didn't really say up to 50 meters or anything. It's just, it resists water. So I wouldn't go dunking in your iPhone in some milk anytime soon, because that shit will probably fuck up. It has wireless charging, but it's not actually wireless charging. You have to plug in this little circular little circle thing to the wall, and then you can put your iPhone on that little circle thing, and it'll start charging. So it's quote-unquote wireless, and it has a 12-megapixel camera, which isn't that great. I mean, if you're not a photographer, you probably don't know a lot about megapixels, but 12 megapixels, that shit's old. Like, the camera that I'm shooting on right now has 22 megapixels, and that's pretty standard right now. 20 megapixels on a regular camera. I even think some Samsungs have much bigger sensors than 12 megapixels. But you know what? iPhone, fuck them. They just do whatever they want. They can put whatever they want in the phone, and people are still going to buy it. And that's because I honestly think the reason why people keep buying iPhones for no other reason than iMessage. Because if you don't have that little blue iMessage, you're a fucking loser. To me, you are, at least. If you're going to pop in on my phone and send me a message and you have a green bubble because you're Android, it's either one, you're an old person and you don't give a shit about status or class or anything, or 2, you're just fucking, you're a bum city. You're bumming it because you just didn't spring for the iPhone. So, I mean, that's the only reason I stay on iPhone. I see all these other cool phones. I'd rather have a Samsung Galaxy S8. I really, really would. But that means I would lose my little blue text bubble. I don't want to lose my little blue text bubble. I need that thing. I want to see when people are texting me. I want to send little, I want to be in group chats and not fuck up everything for everybody else because I'm the green guy and I turn everybody else green. Honestly, I don't even reply to group chats that are green. Do you? I don't. If it's a green group chat, that thing can go fuck itself. I'm going to take myself off of it. And if I can't take myself off of it, I'm muting that shit because I only like iMessage group chats. So that's the only reason I'm staying on it. I think I'm going to buy the iPhone X, even though it has $1,000 price tag starting. So it's starting at $1,000, but it has the full phone is a screen, much like the Galaxy S8. It's a just big ass screen, OLED screen. So that means it's gonna have accurate, stunning colors and true blacks. I mean, you need your shit to look right. You don't want to be looking at a fucking Jackson Pollock on your phone and be like, well, you know what? Those colors aren't about right. You need that shit fucking true LED. The thing that I don't like is the Face ID. I don't want that shit looking at my face. I don't even like when I'm on Snapchat and it actually turns around on my face, has a front facing camera and it accidentally shows my face. I don't like that. So I feel like the facial recognition is much like that. Like I even though it's just a computer looking at me, I don't want it looking at me. I'm not always presentable at my front face camera. I don't want there to be a facial recognition of me with that fucking front face camera. So I'm not really big on that. But I'm probably going to buy the iPhone X, the iPhone 10. So another cool thing that Apple released this week was the Apple iWatch. I have actually own an Apple iWatch. It's not even Apple. It's just called an Apple Watch. I'm an old person calling it an iWatch. The Apple Watch now has cellular technology built in, meaning it doesn't need to be paired to your phone via Bluetooth anymore, which is one of my biggest complaints on the phone and the watch being synced is because Bluetooth really drains your battery. If you have Bluetooth on your phone and all day long, if Bluetooth on your phone all day long with your trying to just have your watch so you can get those texts on your phone and your watch and you can answer calls when you're driving, whatever, it's the convenience of it, what have you, it drains the fuck out of your battery. So most of the time I just use my watch as a watch. And my watch also dies faster when it's on the Bluetooth. I can have this watch charged for like up to 3 days if I just use it as a watch. So that's usually what I end up doing. But I think it's really cool that the new ones are going to have cellular technology built in so you don't have to have it paired. So you can just say, you know what, I want to run to the store real quick. My phone's charging right now. I don't want to take it. So I'm just going to have my watch, which will be useful as a phone. I think that's cool because you can just take off. Or if you want to go, I don't know, I don't really do any action sports or anything, but if I was a surfer, I think that'd be kind of tight to be out in the fucking the tubular waves, bruh, and just have your phone on your watch and be able to get the calls from your chickie. That'd be kind of cool. I think that would be kind of cool. So, will I pick up the new watch? Probably not. I'll probably pick it up when there's an Apple Watch 5 or something, and this one goes deeply discounted. I'll probably pick it up then. But am I going to buy it new? Probably not. So, that's it for Apple. If you're going to pick up a fucking Apple X, Apple 10, iPhone 10, be ready to drop a G on it. You're going to drop a little G. You're going to drop a little money. A little status symbol right there. She's like, yeah, I can drop a G on a fucking phone. Or you can just finance it, whatever. That's probably what I'll do. Probably add like $40 to my bill every month and my mom pays. What? The movie came out this weekend, and let me tell you, oh shit, I dropped my Apple phone right now. I might need a phone quicker than we think. Hold on, let me grab that guy. So, the movie came out, and it honestly was amazing. I went and saw it. I've never seen the 90s TV adaptation, I'll admit, and I've never read the book. Actually, I wasn't sure what to expect going into this movie. I just know that I've heard that it was really good, and like we said last week, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's really good. So I said, you know what? Why not? Give it a try. It exceeded all expectations of mine. It was phenomenal. I don't really like scary movies too much because I don't really get scared too easy. Like, honestly, if it's a movie about cancer, fuck that. I can't watch it. I think one of my biggest fears is mice and cancer. So I can't watch a movie if it's like, if it has anything to do with cancer, fuck that. That scares the shit out of me. But, I mean, fake-ass monsters and people cutting off arms and blood and all that kind of shit, that doesn't really scare me too much. So I don't get scared too often. And that was the same thing with Stephen King's It. It didn't scare me at all. I wasn't scared. I saw when the I saw the little fright scenes were coming. They're very readable. But it wasn't just a scary movie. It had a great storyline. It had excellent acting. And it was just a fun movie to watch. I really enjoyed all the little kids having little smart-ass attitudes, and each of them having their own cool little individual personalities, and they weren't just like whatever, we're little kids. Kind of like, it was kind of reminiscent of the Goonies in a way, where all the kids were pretty cool and they all had their own little thing going on. It really was, to me, Goonies and Stranger Things combined into one movie, which I think that's what they were going for, because Stranger Things is a straight rip of the movie and the book, It. It's a bunch of kids riding around on their bikes, trying to defeat an evil entity and get their friends back. It's a straight rip, and I think that that was like a little. They paid tribute to the fact that that show ripped them off by starring Finn Wolfhard, the star of Stranger Things. They put him in this movie too, so it's like, hey, look, we know that Stranger Things ripped us off, but we're not salty about it. We'll let it be. We're not mad. And I really appreciated that, because that kid was actually the funniest kid in the whole movie. He had a lot of funny one-liners, and I really appreciated him. The special effects were pretty good. I mean, I think his name's Tim Curry, the original It. I've seen some clips on YouTube, because I went full nerd after I saw the movie. I went to YouTube trying to look up clips and look up origin stories of Pennywise the Clown. And I saw some clips of the 90s series, and the special effects look really 90s, and I don't really expect to ever watch the 90s version because of that. But I will say that the special effects in this movie were amazing. I'm not going to give it away, but there's a scene where a bathroom completely fills with blood. Sounds cheesy, but it was phenomenal, the way that they did it. And I really enjoyed it. I think you should go watch it. It made $200 million worldwide on its opening weekend. $200 million worldwide. And that is the biggest opening for a horror movie ever. So that movie right there just smashed all box office numbers for horror movies. I don't really think horror movies generate big box office numbers on their opening weekends. I think they make a lot of money. But I've never really heard of anybody saying, oh shit, are you going to go watch this scary movie? It's coming out this weekend. But I heard a lot of buzz about It, the movie. Saw a lot of shit on Facebook. A lot of people saying that they were excited for it. And it lived up to the hype. Not a lot of things live up to their hype these days. The iPhone 10's not going to live up to the hype. But It, the movie, definitely lived up to the hype. It might have been because I had a little tequila in me, though. Before the movie, decided I was going to get something to drink, and instead of just getting a beer like a normal person on a Sunday afternoon, I saw that there was a jalapeno margarita at the restaurant. I was like, you know what? I'm a fan of margaritas. I've been known to dabble with the margarita. So I said, you know what? I'll try this. So the woman that was serving me said, oh, you're ordering the jalapeno margarita. I've never made one of those. And that should have been a sign right there. It should have been a sign. But I was like, yeah, I have had one at like Applebee's, and it was really good, because I really have had one at Applebee's, and it was delicious. If you make a jalapeno margarita right, that shit is a bomb. But let me tell you how this person made it. So they open the fridge. They go into a cup with some cellophane covering a bunch of jalapenos that came out of a can. So they had that pickled smell. She puts them at the bottom of the cup and begins to like grind them up to get all of that pickled juice in there. She does that, and then she takes it over to the tequila section, which I think she used some. I think she used Casadoras. She didn't cheap out. She used some Casadoras, but she begins to free pour it. I see her put like 3 or 4 shots in that motherfucker, and I'm like, what the fuck? 3 or 4 shots? It's a Sunday afternoon. I'm just trying to watch It. I'm not trying to get turned. I mean, Friday night, fuck yeah, give me 4 shots of tequila and fuck. I end up listening to some Drake and crying. But on a fucking Sunday afternoon when I'm going to go watch a movie with a bunch of old people probably watching movies matinee on Sunday. But whatever. I let her go. I let her do it. So she pours in all that tequila. I get it. And she says, how does it taste? And she sits there watching me. and I sip it, and it tastes like straight rubbing alcohol. It tastes like, I always say tequila tastes like sweaty butthole. And that's exactly what it tastes like. It was like sweaty butthole with a little bit of sweet and sour. And I was like, oh, it's really good. It's really good. Oh, also, it was spicy butthole because it had those jalapenos in it. And I was like, holy fuck, like, this is the worst drink I've ever bought. I don't think I've ever been to a bar where I'm like, I don't like this drink. It's pretty standard. Bartenders do a good job. They all know their craft. They all know what they're doing. And you order a Jack and Coke anywhere. Some of them are a little bit stronger than others, but you're getting a Jack and Coke. But a jalapeno margarita is a little bit of a wild card, and it did not work out in my favor. I think I only drank like a quarter of that margarita, and I was pretty buzzed. So I was watching that movie Buzz because of that jalapeno margarita, and it was much appreciated. I left most of it there, so they took it off our tab, but I still got a buzz off of it. So it was like a free buzz, and they took it off it was free, got a buzz. It's all good, Sometimes life pays it forward. Sometimes God shines down on you. He's like, you know what? I know I've been shitting on you recently, but have a buzz on me. Catch a fade on a Sunday on me. Ted Cruz is in the news, but not for something that he would like to be in the news for. On the internet, on I think it was Tuesday night, I believe it was, Texas Senator, no, it was Monday night. It was on September 11th. This fool was watching porn on September 11th. I mean, I watch porn on September 11th, but I'm not like a fucking waving flags all around, never forget kind of shit. Like, it's sad, but I think Ted Cruz should have abstained from jacking off that night. So Texas Senator Ted Cruz liked a porn video tweeted by @sexualpost. It was a 2-minute and 20-second reality Kings clip of a mother walking in on her stepdaughter getting railed by a dude. And it was real vanilla. It was like real vanilla porn. It's just the stepmom takes her tits out, starts rubbing herself, and she's just listening to her daughter get railed, her stepdaughter. And that's not something that I would watch. But you know what, Ted Cruz, I'm sure that was pretty risque for you. In 2016, Vanity Fair wrote an article called "Ted Cruz Doesn't Believe You Have the Rights to Masturbate," which talks about when Ted Cruz was a Solicitor General for Texas. He helped write a 76 legal briefing defending the state's ban on the sale of sex toys. He called sex toys, quote unquote, obscene devices. Under the proposed law, it would be punishable by law 2 years in jail for buying and using sex toys. So fucking Ted Cruz doesn't want women to be using dildos or gay men to be using dildos or anybody to be using vibrators at all. But this fool's gonna go on September 11th and watch some vanilla ass porn and say, you know what? I might want to watch this tomorrow. I better favorite this. So, you know what? Fuck Ted Cruz. He, in that brief, he compared sex toys to hiring a willing prostitute engaging in consensual bigamy. So, Ted Cruz is just chilling on a fucking Monday night, looking at his porn. Honestly, I have a theory about it. I think it was probably an intern who has the password to the Ted Cruz Twitter account, and he was thinking he was on his own Twitter. And he probably favorites porn regularly on his own Twitter, and he favorited it. And then he said, oh shit, one of my tweets went viral. And he's like, oh, fuck. I accidentally favorited Ted Cruz on Ted Cruz's thing. I favorited some porn. And he probably got fired. Little kid probably got fired that night on September 11th. So you know what, Ted Cruz, keep on rubbing one out for us, because I'm rubbing one out for you, man, because I'm a firm believer that jacking off is fun. That's some good shit. Speaking of September 11th was on Monday, and I mean, you can't joke about it, which I'm not going to joke about it, but September 11th was Monday, and it is like a thing where you will never forget. And the reason why you'll never forget is because they will constantly show you videos of that day, of that crazy day. And I was a little kid. I think I was in 7th grade when it happened. So I remember seeing it live. It unfolded live in front of my eyes. But it wasn't till years later that the cool documentaries started coming out, where you start seeing really cool footage that people had, that people were taking. And not only that, but a lot of conspiracy theories, which I really do buy into the conspiracy theories. The biggest one that I buy into was 9/11 was an inside job. And I'm not going to say I completely buy into it, but they're very fascinating to me. If you've never looked up 9/11 conspiracy theories, there's some crazy ones. Like, there's multiple conspiracy theories out there. Some of the biggest ones are that George Bush did 9/11. Some other ones are that planes never did crash into the World Trade Centers, because they say that a plane going that speed couldn't peek its nose through, because it would have disintegrated on impact because it was going so fast. And they go and show you some examples of doing some, I think there was a nuclear facility that wanted to see what would happen if a plane were to fly into the nuclear reactors that are made of concrete. So they flew a jet. It was all a simulation, of course. It was on a track and it was controlled. So they put a jet on a track going the speed that it would be going if it was to crash into this nuclear reactor that's made out of concrete, and the jet completely disintegrates. Now, the Twin Towers were made of steel, heavy, heavy steel. I mean, that's where the joke comes from. Fire can't melt steel beams. So they're saying that if that plane would have crashed into the World Trade Center, no way would you have seen it go in and then peeked its nose out. Because if you look at the video, the nose peeks out. And I think another conspiracy theory is the guy who owned the lease to the World Trade Center, not too long before the tragedies took place, he took out terrorism coverage. If you didn't know, I'm an insurance salesman. That's what I do. That's my trade. You can purchase insurance for terrorism coverage. If you're a business owner, terrorism coverage usually comes with your shit. Nowadays, I don't know what it was like back then, but I think nowadays everything really comes with terrorism. And if it doesn't come with it, it's like an extra $2 a year. If your business is struck by a terror attack, you're covered, basically. He went out and bought terrorism coverage for those two buildings, and he ended up making $4 billion on that, because not one plane hit his building, but two planes hit his building. He actually went to court to defend this. He went to court to say, hey, look, I wasn't attacked by one terrorism attack. I was attacked 2 times on 2 different buildings, which he was. But he profited off of that insurance claim. He profited $4 billion. That dude, his name's Lucky Larry. I don't know his last name, but Lucky Larry made $4 billion, and he didn't go to work on 9/11 either, surprisingly enough. Lucky Larry missed work on 9/11 and then went on to profit $4 billion off of a terrorism policy that he had just bought, which, I mean, you can look at it in all different ways. There was warnings that 9/11 was going to happen. That's not a conspiracy. There actually was warnings. The perpetrators actually did warn the United States, hey, look, we're going to steal some planes and we're going to crash them into shit on that specific date. So, I mean, maybe he just saw that warning and says, you know what, there's some shit's going to go down. I better buy some fucking coverage because I don't want to be out billions of dollars because my shit got blown up. That could be. But I like the conspiracy theories. I like conspiracy theories a lot in general. But when it comes to major tragedies, I think that there's always conspiracy theories. It's not exclusive to 9/11. I mean, if you look at the Kennedy assassination, all kinds of conspiracy theories attached to that. So, I mean, they're cool to look into. It's weird to think that could actually be a thing, to think that the government is actually in on big conspiracies that are big cover-ups. It's weird to think about. And it's weird to think that Donald Trump right now knows all that shit. Like, I think I know Donald Trump well enough now, knowing him vicariously through television. I think the first thing he did, he was like, hey, what are aliens real? What happened to JFK? Was 9/11 an inside job? Those are the 3 things I want to know right now. Right when I got, like, the second he got sworn in and walked in the building, he's like, tell me those 3 things right fucking now, because I want to know. And I think that's why he's going crazy. He can't handle it. He can't handle all the truth that's being, I'm really just kidding. Maybe, honestly, maybe. So 9/11, Ted Cruz, watching porn, conspiracy theories, J.J. Abrams is to write and direct the new Star Wars Episode 9. If you weren't familiar, J.J. Abrams actually directed The Force Awakens, which, honestly, when I saw The Force Awakens, I thought at the time that it was the best Star Wars movie that I'd ever seen. And honestly, I think that about every Star Wars movie that I've seen lately, because The Force Awakens was like really good. I walked out of the theater like, oh my God, that was the best Star Wars I'd ever seen. And then I saw Rogue One. I was like, oh my God, that was the best Star Wars I'd ever seen. But hopefully that this one's going to be just as good. If you're not familiar with who J.J. Abrams is, I think my favorite J.J. Abrams film ever, it's going to surprise you. It was produced by J.J. Abrams. It was written by J.J. Abrams. Joyride. The 2001 American horror thriller with Paul Walker about the trucker who's following these kids whose their code name is Candy Cane. Hey there, Candy Cane. What's up? Well, the kids were fucking around with on a CB radio. They're fucking around with truckers saying, hey, you want to fuck? You want to fuck? Meet me at the hotel right now. And the truckers get all horny. They're like, fuck yeah, I want to fuck. And that's what Joyride was about. J.J. Abrams, you're a fucking genius, because Joyride was a great movie. And just because Joyride was a great movie, I know Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be a fucking awesome movie. Like, I think it will be. If it's anything like Joyride, that shit's gonna be delicious. I'm gonna love it. So that's about it for the podcast this week. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I can only pump out around 27 to 30 minutes for you without myself needing to just decompress. Doing this by yourself, this shit ain't easy. Mike, I miss you. Nick Sal, come back. Honestly, though, I think we're going to be moving. If you're still listening, then you're a real one and you care about this. I think we're going to be moving the podcast back to audio only, but we're going to be using Spreaker so we can put it on iTunes. That's where I want to end up. I want to end up on iTunes so people can listen to us in their cars. The video's cool and all, but it's a lot of work putting up lights and making sure the light's right. And I honestly like audio podcast. If I want to be sitting here with my shirt off, fucking scratching myself, that's what I want to be doing. You know, I don't want to be worried about what I look like in front of the camera. Oh, did I wear this shirt last week because I only own 3 shirts? Or did I have a 3-shirt rotation? Oh, what hat did I wear? Oh shit. Am I sweating right now? Are these lights making me sweat? Let me just pretend to just adjust my hat and take that sweat off my brow. That's just too much for me. I just want to do the audio podcast. So in the future, look for us more to be on iTunes. That's the ultimate goal. I think by episode 20, we'll be exclusively on iTunes. So, I mean, I'm excited for that. So be on the lookout for that. I'm not going to do any final thoughts this week because I'm not Mike and I don't have any final thoughts. But next week, I hope that we will be doing a video podcast and it will be with the famous Nick Sal of Bum City. But until next week, goodbye.